In this video, I'm going to show you 12 important steps for when you're welcoming someone into your home. Details that make all the difference and will surprise your guests. Hi, how are you? I'm Juliana Santiago, etiquette consultant and teacher. And in today's video, we're going to talk about details that will surprise your guests. And they'll notice that the environment was truly prepared to welcome them and that you are truly a successful hostess. First, organize the house entrance. We need to pay attention to what the guest's first contact with our reception, with our home will be like. And really, the first impression is what lasts. That's why a clean doormat will make all the difference. Pay attention to the lighting in the area. So for example, if it's a night light, then everything is fine. You don't need to worry. But if it's a light you need to turn on, that's something to pay attention to. You should already have that space lit in a pleasant way. You can also add a plant if you like. To welcome your guests better, make that space more inviting and more pleasant to the guests' eyes so they can notice, wow, what a pleasant environment is waiting for me. The house's smell will make a big difference. Smell is the first sense we have when we arrive at a place. So the smell will make a big difference for that first impression we want to create. Just like the environment I mentioned earlier, the entrance area, the smell will be another environment, a big differentiator that you can add. You can spray air freshener. You can use a candle. If you have a sideboard, you can leave a candle there. I think it also adds a decorative touch to your home's entrance. Nowadays, we also have a lot of plug-in air fresheners, which can be something that makes things easier. And it's also interesting for us to pay attention to the smell of our house. Not just the area where the guest will have their first contact, like the entryway or the initial reception area, but also, for example, the kitchen. Does it smell like frying, right? That smell has spread to other rooms and that's not pleasant. Nowadays, actually, in the market, we can even find odor neutralizers to make things easier. And your guest won't have that negative experience of arriving at your house and smelling that odor. So you can use this air neutralizer and then follow up with a pleasant scent of your choice. Cleaning and organization in general will also make a big difference when your guest arrives at your house. Imagine welcoming someone with a bunch of things scattered around. So for example, don't leave things piled up, papers or toys lying around. That's not nice. Even if it's a reception where there will be children and you've prepared some games for them to play during your event. It's a good idea to leave, I don't know, a box with the toys organized. And then when the children arrive, they'll go there and make their own mess. But it's important that when the guest arrives, they have the feeling that the environment is organized. That makes a big difference. This visual contact is essential for the guest to have that perception. And if the guest is going to have any contact with the kitchen, they're going to see your kitchen as well. Even if you're preparing the food, cooking for those people, try to keep the kitchen more organized as well. Keep the dishes washed. Don't leave the sink full of stuff. Keep the ingredients separated. All this organization will make your reception run more smoothly and will also be noticed by your guest. Setting the table or preparing the meal space can make a big difference. If you've been following me for a while or just started now, you probably know that I love a set table. And for me, if there's a gathering where I can include a beautiful table to welcome my guests, I will add it. But of course, we can't always welcome our guests with a set table. We need to have a place for everyone to sit. So for example, there's no point in wanting to host 10 guests. If you have a table for 6, then you can't set a table for 10, can you? Where are you going to put the other 4? So I don't recommend you make that division. In this case, where you're going to have more guests than the number of seats at your table, the ideal is to set up a counter where you can place the plates, the cutlery, and create a space there to serve the food. For your guests, have everything prepared and organized so your reception flows smoothly. This will make things easier for the guests so they already know what to do, where to go, and where everything is. It's easier so they won't keep questioning you. And you also have more control over your reception because everything is already made easier for you. If someone asks for something, you already know where it is. And you can also guide your guest better. We need to understand that as the hostess, when you are going to receive someone, you become the leader of your event. We have that leadership role and everything that will make things easier. This leadership and this journey that our guests will experience there in our home makes all the difference for its success. So these details are what will really create a successful reception. The atmosphere and the lighting will also make a big difference. We live in an extremely tropical country, which is Brazil, and really it's hard not to feel hot around here. But if you know that it's a really hot day, it's a good idea to find ways to make your guest more comfortable. So, for example, if you have air conditioning, turn it on. If you don't provide fans, or even choose a more airy spot in your house to welcome your guests, because that will definitely make a big difference for the well-being of everyone there. Lighting is also another important point. We know that white light makes the environment brighter, more open. It feels like a studio, while yellow light makes the environment warmer, but with more coziness, So it's interesting for us to pay attention to these details. If you have a lot of lights in your house, try turning on just a few. Also, check if the lights in your house are working. It can happen that you receive your guests and several lights are broken. So replace them before you have people over. Because as I've always said here in this video, it's the details that make the difference. And if you really want to make a difference in your life, in your gatherings, give this video a like, subscribe to the channel because there's always something new here. I post videos often. Follow Etiquette y Protocolo on all social media. Getting the bathroom ready for your guest also makes a big difference. I love to leave a tray in my bathroom where I put a candle on it. I also like to leave a special scent in the bathroom. I like to leave a soap and a home spray. And I love to leave a little box with first aid items. So a nail file, a sanitary pad, a hair tie, a bobby pin. Everything that can also make my guests stay easier and make them feel more welcomed by me. So I already leave this little box in the bathroom, and even if someone asks me for something, most things are already there, which makes it much easier for the host when welcoming guests. Especially when we're going to host and we don't have much help. There won't be a waiter, there won't be a catering service preparing the food. Everything we can get done and prepare in advance will make a difference for us to have a successful gathering. And whether it's with a little box in the bathroom, with a light, with a nice scent, all of that adds up. It makes your guests' experience at home easier. A welcome drink is also a must when you want to create a successful reception. What do we need to think about at this point? Whenever you offer this welcome drink, you can't just go up to your guest and ask, "What would you like to drink?" You should offer them options according to the menu that was prepared and organized by you. For example, if you have beer and red wine, there's no need to ask what the person will drink. She requests white wine, but you don't have any. So you ask directly, "Wow, what would you like to drink?" We have red wine, beer, water, juice, and soda. It's also important to remember that the guest shouldn't have to ask the host for a drink, so don't wait for your guest to ask. Always offer right away. Sometimes they don't want to have an alcoholic drink at first, but they might want some water because it's very hot and the weather is very dry. So, an excellent idea is to offer this welcome drink. After you offer this welcome drink, you can guide your guest, especially when you are hosting. And there aren't many people there to help you. As I said, without a buffet or waiter, how will you ensure the reception runs smoothly? So you should mention to the guest where the drinks are. Look, here in this place are the wines. Make yourself at home. To refill your glass, you can feel totally comfortable. If you need, I can help you, but everything is right here. Always remember to welcome your guests with some music as well. when we already have some music playing, whether it's a video on television, a song on a speaker, on a JBL, or on an Alexa, this makes the reception already feel like it's happening. And then the guest, he will feel more comfortable when he arrives at your house because he'll notice, wow, it smells so nice. The music is already playing. Even if the person is the first to arrive, she will feel welcomed and will feel that you are really just waiting for her. So, playing some music makes all the difference. Pay close attention to the volume you set for this music at the beginning. Don't play anything too loud. You don't want to be unable to talk to your guest or welcome the people who are arriving at your gathering, at your reception. Choosing background music makes a big difference. We should also mention the importance of comfortable seating. There's nothing worse than your guest feeling uncomfortable. So, you need to check the number of people you have confirmed for your event. And does the space you've arranged to host these guests actually accommodate these people? And does it do so in a comfortable way? Because if not, you'll have to provide extra chairs, more tables, maybe a small sofa to offer support and be there. Really something to make your guests more comfortable. So, is there nothing you do, for example, when you welcome people? And then some people sit on an uncomfortable stool and others on a super comfortable chair. I know it might seem silly. Wow, there's no problem if I put a little stool there. But the person who arrives and has to sit on the stool, she feels like, wow, it seems like I'm just here. Left out, it seems like she didn't know I was coming. Oh, I arrived late and I'm sitting like on the little punishment bench. You know, that kind of bad feeling. We don't want to pass that on to our guests. We need to have empathy for everyone, kindness and respect for all people equally. Paying attention to these details will make your reception much more successful. Still talking about the position of the furniture, the furnishings in your home, we need to think about a welcoming environment. It's no use providing comfortable chairs following the previous tip and then placing the chairs facing away or putting one in each corner. No, you need to create an environment or environments where people can socialize and connect with each other. So it's essential for you to also think a lot about the arrangement of the furniture in your home. It's better for me to move the armchairs around to create other spaces for conversation. That makes my home more comfortable. And my guests, they also get more comfortable options for them too. It's something that can make a big difference when you host, and your guests will be truly surprised. These are personalized details. You prepare a dish that your guest likes, buy a drink of the brand they prefer, for example, serve the beer that the person likes. Personalized details make a big difference. And what if you don't want to include a drink or food that your guest likes and enjoys? You can also put a name, a little welcome note. You can use a lot of little signs nowadays, or even chalkboard signs. You can write, welcome the couple Maria Juan. This makes your reception feel more delicate, more personalized, and the person feels more special. Also, remember, we need to pay attention when discussing personalization about our guest restrictions. So always remember to ask if your guest has any restrictions. With the main dish you plan to serve, so if the dish, for example, is shrimp, and that's the only option you're going to serve, you need to check with your guests at the time of the invitation to see if they're okay with it. It's a simple detail, but that also matters. It's a way to personalize your event without making mistakes. Making a cordial farewell is something that makes your reception end with extreme class. So when your guest, he has left or he says he wants to leave, stay, but sometimes the person really wants to leave. So insisting too much for the person to stay is not good either. The guest needs to feel comfortable there at our reception, at our event. That, yes, is how you surprise those people. And I could spend some time talking about hosting at home here. We have a course on hosting at home, the Hostess Etiquette, where you will learn all the etiquette rules for hosting at home in a respectful way with empathy according to the etiquette rules. In this course, you will understand the step-by-step process of hosting a gathering, how you will welcome your guests, how you will prepare your home, and even how you will organize a perfect event without missing anything. Click the link below to be directed to this course. When discussing hosting at home, questions about table settings are very common. That's why I made a tutorial here showing beginners step by step how to set a table. Click here to watch the video. I'll be here after. See you soon.